look at this cell again, where we're seeing that red and green together, moving off to the north and the east, and really looking like, to me, it's pretty much on the west side of Yellow Springs, but continuing to move off. And we've got a couple of other areas that we need to keep a close eye on here. Looks like a new severe thunderstorm warning, Eric, here in northwestern Ohio over Defiance. This one looks like it has been issued for wind, so we're looking at winds up to 58 miles per hour or higher. We've been seeing a lot of 60 mile per hour winds in a lot of these cells. This one looks like it also has some lightning, some hail, as well as some pretty heavy downpours here. And again, I keep saying rounds of rain, but that really is what we're dealing with here. It is just kind of one after the other, even though they are moving through fairly quickly. So we'll have to watch this one again. For the moment, it doesn't look like that cell is showing rotation, or at least yet, but it could be producing some damaging winds as well. So this really is the hot spot here that we're watching right now, parts of west central, southwestern Ohio here, where we have the tornado warnings. And as Eric has been saying, moving north and east. So we're talking about getting pretty close in here to Madison County here, getting close to the west side of Columbus here as we get into the next 30, 40 minutes. Yeah,
Aaron, just reading some of the information the Weather Service is putting out now about this warning that is in central Clark County, northeastern Greene County, near Yellow Springs. The Weather Service does believe that this could produce a tornado again at any time. This has had the history of producing a tornado. It is part of that storm that we believe produced a tornado back when it was in northeastern Butler County. So that's kind of one of the areas that we're closely monitoring. But just to kind of give you an idea, Springfield, Yellow Springs, Cedarville, Clifton all need to be in your shelter at this time. Pitchen, Husted, and over at John Bryan State Park, it looks like it's going to impact that area as well as the Selma area here over the next few minutes as this storm here races to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So you can see kind of where our clusters of warnings are out with this. And Aaron was mentioning the warnings up in northwestern Ohio. That is with purely a wind threat, but the tornado warnings that continue here off to the south for Clark and Greene County, Champaign County, and Clark County as well that we're watching here. The tornado threat is going to be farther to the south here with this line of thunderstorms. It's going to be closer between Dayton and Columbus. That's where we have the most instability at this time. It started out cool in Columbus. Earlier, we had rain, a couple of areas of rain that pushed through, and then the temperature popped up as that first batch of rain kind of went through the area, and that allowed for some quick destabilization of the atmosphere. So now this line of thunderstorms with an area of low pressure pushing through, feeding off of that instability that has pushed its way into southwest and central Ohio. And now with this spinning of the atmosphere, you can almost kind of pick up, if you look closely, there's low pressure here, and it's kind of spinning counterclockwise this way. And with that, these storms that are kind of developing, they're having the chance to kind of spin around as they kind of feel that motion up that way. So they're trying to move northwest to northeast, but then the winds aloft are moving almost north-northwest, and so as these storms generate, they almost feel that rotation, and thus this area here is the band that we really have to pay attention to that's arcing out. That's where we're going to have to monitor for the continued threat for tornadoes here for the next little while as this line pushes off to the northeast. Let me go over. I'm going to go to a live view of this. I know it's going to point to the southwest. That's where I last put my saved screen hat. Change that here, and then let's zoom in to where we are tracking the warnings now. And I want to go to this cell that's approaching the Urbana area now and kind of zoom into where this is. And it looks like it's right over Highway 55, southwest of Urbana. And I'm going to do a storm track here because it looks like this is going to come up toward the Urbana area. Now, Urbana, you're not under the tornado warning, and this storm does look like it's going to quickly move out of that tornado-warned area. But let's look and see if we can pick up any rotation with that at this point. And it looks more like straight line winds. We don't see green next to red there. So likely we'll see that tornado warning expire. That is heading toward Urbana. It appears that tornado threat has weakened a bit. Now I'm going to leave the velocity up here, and I want to move off to the south and come pick up where this other tornado warning is. It looks like they've dropped that one. That was out here between New Jasper, south of New Jasper. Or is that this? Oh, here it is. Yellow Springs. Couldn't see because everything's the color red here. There it is, right over Yellow Springs. You see the green and the very bright pink there. I want to see if I can get a velocity on that. Yeah, look at that, 66 miles per hour. What the radar, there's an 83 mile per hour wind that the radar is picking up aloft. Now, that's not right at the ground, but you have winds going in one direction over 80 miles per hour, and then the green with the wind going the other direction. So you've got winds kind of going this way, and then the green indicating winds that are going that way, and that's where you start to get that spin. There it looks like east of Yellow Springs, and that's why the tornado warning is out. Not a classic signature that we see, but just enough of one that tornado warning continues, and that's going to come up here east of Yellow Springs. It is north of Cedarville. Cedarville, you still have severe thunderstorm warnings out nearby, but it looks like you are in the clear as far as the warning is concerned. I do want to point out we do have warnings now out just west of Columbus, severe thunderstorm warnings out that have just been issued. This new severe thunder, let me go back over to the radar mode here so it looks a little bit more traditional. And you can see now a new severe thunderstorm warning out does include Mount Sterling, Jeffersonville, into London. So this is coming up now on the west side of Columbus. Again, severe thunderstorm warning with this, but we'll have to watch this because we have had a couple of spin-ups here with this particular cell, particularly that one that's between Cedarville and Springfield there. That's the one that we're kind of the most concerned with right now for the potential of rotation, Aaron.
Eric, I just want to give an update. I saw a couple of reports, Indiana, of power outages. I did just check AES Ohio. Right now, 99.9% of customers in the Dayton area do still have power. So we'll keep an eye on that. That, of course, could change or evolve here over the next hour or two. Let's look at the skies over Dayton. We've got a lot of cloud cover out there. Taking a look at Columbus, we've got mostly cloudy skies and things are looking calm for the moment. But again, heads up here. Downtown Columbus, that commute getting started here, and you are going to be getting these strong gusty storms coming in with the potential for some rotating storms as well. We are just checking all the boxes for these storms to be severe this afternoon into the evening hours. So getting the statewide view here, we've got several rounds of rain happening. One line here, non-severe. This one has been moving through the state over the past several hours since this morning. A lot of cloud cover, wet roads in the eastern third of the state. Central Ohio, again, now just starting to get onto that leading edge, especially western counties of Columbus or central Ohio getting in on these storms. And as Eric mentioned, we do have severe thunderstorm warning in northwest Ohio. That includes Defiance here. That storm, that severe warning has been issued for the threat of severe winds. So 58 miles per hour or more, getting a couple of reports out of that cell of 60 mile per hour winds. Getting back into our trouble areas here, the two areas that we're most concerned about, as Eric pointed out, this one getting close to Urbana, this cell here just south of Springfield, but still severe thunderstorms moving off to the north and the east. South of there, this cluster looks like it could be getting into Mount Sterling, maybe moving just north of Mount Sterling here, but between London and Mount Sterling. Of course, we've got I-71 right here, so heads up. I'm sure if you are looking off to your west, unfortunately, if you are traveling, you should be at home if you can, but you're going to be looking at some really dark lowering clouds here with these storms racing pretty quickly off to the north and the east. Eric was talking about trying to find the green and the red together. It looks like there could be a little bit of a weak rotation right here just north of Route 55. It looks like here with that first cell that is tornado warned, and then the Yellow Springs one we're seeing, again, this is the area right here that Eric was pointing out, severe thunderstorm warning up for Clark in Greene County.
Aaron, I want to pass along. We now have a new tornado warning that is just coming out. We'll get this reported for folks. And again, this one's just southwest of Columbus. I want to go over to where we are right now, and you can see the new tornado warning and now coming out for southern Madison County as well as Fayette County, and also the eastern part there, I believe, of Clark County. New tornado warning just coming out. This takes us just west of Columbus now. That new tornado warning out until 4 o'clock. As Doppler radar indicating that potential here for a tornado has developed. And just want to go and show you the radar here, and we'll get right to this again with this new tornado warning just coming out. Let me show you where we are. And that was one of the things that we were concerned with, was this cell that was back here basically moving through near the Yellow Springs area, then coming to the east of there. That one just really is kind of out by itself. It has some ability to pick up some rotation with it, and we believe that's what's occurring here near Jeffersonville at this time. We have detected rotation beginning to pick up, thus the Weather Service going ahead and issuing a tornado warning for that particular cell. I want to go over the latest stats on that cell, that tornado warning that has just been issued. National Weather Service issuing that tornado warning for northern Fayette County, southeastern Clark County, southeastern Greene County, and southern Madison County until 4 o'clock. National Weather Service indicates a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was over Jamestown, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. Impact locations include London, Jamestown, Mount Sterling, Jeffersonville, New Jasper, South Solon, Midway, Bowersville, as well as Octa, Newport, and then over toward Gladstone, Madison Lake, and Bell Center and Shady Grove in the path of this developing tornado. We'll show you the velocity on where this, we believe that this rotation is showing up with this. I'll go over and we'll turn that on. And let me zoom in to where they are believing that the tornado is located. It's kind of hard to pick out where we're seeing it, but it's in this area south of Jamestown. They believe that it's over Jamestown right now. You see Jamestown's on your map. So there is, the Weather Service believes, some rotation in this area here, and that is what is lifting off here toward the northeast. So that is where we're picking up. You see a little bit of kind of that dark red there to the right, and then the bright red that's over Jamestown. We believe that there is some circulation right in this area here that the Weather Service thinks that a tornado could be developing and may be developing here very, very shortly. So we've gotten the tornado warning that's been issued. One of the things I will point out that the tornado warning has been issued for a fairly large area with this particular cluster of thunderstorms, as they believe that this is moving very, very quickly off to the northeast. So let's put the tracker on this. I need to change my speed on the tracker, so I'll adjust that here. And as I do that, here we go. We'll put that on here and get you kind of update on the time of arrivals here over the next 40 minutes. So Jeffersonville, 7 minutes. Mount Sterling at about 25 to 26 minutes away. West Jefferson, 35 minutes. Lake Darby, 38 minutes. Arrival time for this particular tornadic cell that is heading up toward southern Madison County, moving in through northern Fayette County, and then likely will come into southern Madison County over the next few minutes. This does not include Franklin County at this time. But a kind of a heads up, if you are watching from Franklin County or Pickaway County, you'll want to pay very close attention to this storm and where it is heading. We are, of course, monitoring this very closely from all vantage points, including looking at it from our camera vantage points as well. I do want to point out real quick, just getting, because I saw this cross, the tornado warning, I believe in Clark County, or Champaign and Clark County, that one has been dropped, although it looks like there is still that warning that's going to continue just south of Springfield for just a little bit longer. So, again, the main warning that we're watching is here just west of Mount Sterling, southwest of London. That is the biggest concern at this time. Want to go over, and I've got our camera here in Columbus. We are looking off toward the west. I've kind of relocated our camera. Downtown Columbus, by the way, is on the left-hand side of your screen. We are looking toward where this storm would be approaching from this vantage point, and we're obviously going to keep a close eye on the camera here over the next little bit as this storm continues to push off toward the northeast. But right now, just the darkening skies in Columbus. It's dry. We're getting underway, approaching at least that evening commute. But again, that storm is going to be approaching from right over here to the right. I know we have kind of the overhang of our building that we are located in where that camera is, but you still can see at least a pretty good vantage point of the sky there over the Columbus Convention Center. We're looking up over that, and you can see just kind of in the distance there, the darkening, that is the storm that is approaching the area. Just to review here, as we are about 34 minutes after the bottom of the hour, we do have a tornado watch out. That does include central and southwestern Ohio. The watch means that conditions are favorable for severe thunderstorms that could include not only damaging winds, but the potential for the tornado. But obviously, we are now watching tornado warnings develop in this area. So the watch definitely was valid, Aaron, and this continues to be the zone that we're going to be watching here over the next little while as this particular cluster of thunderstorms pushes through the area off here toward the northeast. Aaron, I'll let you kind of go over what you got there.
That's right. And we've got Hamilton County, an update on report. I know I talked about AES power. They seem to have power on, but it looks like Duke Energy reporting some power outages in Hamilton County. Again, we've seen strong damaging winds inside storms, outside of storms, and that will continue to be a threat over the next couple of hours or so. But take a look at the red. We have an update here to the severe thunderstorm warnings in northwestern Ohio. The National Weather Service letting us know there is a potential rotation within these storms right now, not a tornado warning, but they sort of went from severe thunderstorm warnings being issued for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour to the potential in these cells for some rotation. So we'll keep an eye on that. But we have actual tornado warnings here, again, moving north and east into Columbus. National Weather Service in Wilmington letting us know Miami Valley is really starting to see that severe threat quickly decline. But now we've got heads up central Ohio, Columbus, Franklin County, Delaware County. We're looking at you now. These storms are coming in, and they're coming in very quickly. If you can hold someone off from leaving school, leaving work, these will move through fairly quickly. Again, that is going to be the best thing. In other words, you're not going to have to wait forever, but waiting is going to be the best idea. So we're seeing the strongest part of the cell right now just moving north and east of South Solon, still over some really heavy rainfall right now over I-71, along with the potential. Keep seeing a couple of reports of some larger hail, some severe hail. So that is going to be a possibility. If you can safely move your car inside, that's going to be the best bet here. Again, especially if you're inside I-270 here right now and you're not in that severe weather threat. Get the car inside. Again, plan and prepare to get down to that safe spot, whether it's down in the basement or an interior room away from the windows, because we have this tornadic cell moving off to the north and the east. Again, getting closer to parts of central and northern Madison County, eventually likely clipping at least the western portions of Franklin County, as well as the potential here for moving into parts of Fairfield and Licking counties as well. We can't rule that out because, again, anyone downstream of these within 30, 60 miles per hour will be getting in on these storms fairly quickly. So getting back to our northwestern Ohio storm system here, severe thunderstorm warnings out for Defiance, Fulton, Henry, Putnam counties. These will stay up for about another 23 minutes or so. And again, even though these are severe thunderstorm warnings at the moment, brand new is what they're telling us is that there could be the possibility for some rotation, and we're seeing some where you see that darker red there, some higher reflectivity, could be getting in on some heavier rainfall there as well as hail. So just to recap, if you're just joining us, it is 3:38. We have active tornado warnings. I know it's supposed to be the middle of winter. We've had that mild air, as Eric was explaining earlier, kind of getting pushed in from the south and the west. We have a very dynamic, energetic storm system system coming in ahead of a strong cold front. You may have heard about the tornadoes yesterday in Oklahoma. This is that storm system, actually parts of California as well. It's been traveling across the entire United States and apparently holding together as it moves into the Buckeye State on this Monday, Eric.
Yeah, a very busy Monday, that is for sure. We've had kind of a very weird, busy month. It seems like with wind and everything else that we've been dealing with, that is for sure. I do want to kind of go over a couple of things. We just got some updated information on the tornado warning that is just to the southwest of Columbus, the metro area. Down around, it looks like the tornado warning, they believe, was located near Jeffersonville, where the outlets are over there. That's where we believe that this storm is currently, and that possibility, and I've got the velocity mode here on. And so this particular storm, they do believe will impact London, Mount Sterling, impacting Jeffersonville at this point, South Solon, Midway, Milledgeville, Octa, Newport, and then moving over toward Madison Lake here and Shady Grove over the next few minutes, Big Plain as well. As this lifts off toward the northeast, now coming through really right along the Fayette County and Madison County line at this point. So really been kind of looking for multiple areas to see where the rotation is on this. And, it's somewhat interesting because we have a couple of areas that we're watching here, but this is the main area that we're kind of dealing with is this location here as this basically lifts off to the northeast. It's going to come into southern Madison County. Well, we believe that the tornado is located right in this area here and rapidly pushing right there, again, right along the Madison County and Fayette County line. We believe that's where the tornado is. You can almost see that bright pink. There's a little bit of green right there. That's coming into southern Madison County. And again, if you just kind of project this out and where it's going, it looks like it will stay just north of I-71 if this holds together. Again, no warning out for Franklin County at this point, but you can just kind of project ahead. We've had warnings kind of all along this, so we'll have to watch this area over the next little bit. I do want to point out this cell here that's south of Springfield, even though technically there's a tornado warning still there, that cell has moved out to the east, so this warning can be dropped off, and it will be dropped off here in just moments, but there is no warning threat, or at least no tornado threat with that particular warning there, as that cell has pushed off to the east. But the warning definitely continues here to the south side of Madison County, northern sections of Fayette County here over the next little bit. And I just want to stop the loop here and give you the current frame, and I'll zoom in a little bit tighter so you can kind of get a better vantage point of where this is. Again, you can see right there that little green and red. So again, this is Jeffersonville here. I-71, here's our rotation right here. There's South Solon. So this is going to cross 38 here in just a moment. 71 and 38 located there. This is where our rotation is. Looks like it's just almost paralleling I-71. And come up here through southern Madison County and then continue off to the northeast. If it continues on its current track, it may move just north of Mount Sterling. But again, we obviously get concerned. We start to get increasingly more population as we head up here to the north and east. So we'll have to watch this cell very closely, but still showing that rotation on the radar at this point. Just kind of reviewing what the Weather Service is saying here. They believe that this still could have the capability of producing a tornado as it pushes off here to the northeast at, trying to get the updated, 50 miles per hour. So still moving at 50. So with that, now that we know a pretty good location of where this is, we can really see it on radar here. I'm going to kind of zoom back out so you can kind of see where we are. And then we'll do another storm track on this. So here's where we are located. Moving off to the northeast. We've got this, we'll move up here 35 minutes. And you can see Mount Sterling here in the next 14 minutes. West Jeff coming up in 23 minutes. Darby Dan, 26 minutes. Grove City in 28 minutes. And then headed over toward Hilliard in just about a half hour, just a little over a half hour. Again, if it holds together, and then may come up north of Lockburn there, the way this looks, what we're seeing there. But approaching Franklin County. No warning out in Franklin County yet, but we're getting closer and closer with this cell as it pushes off here to the northeast. And Aaron, obviously some concern. Obviously, this is getting into a more populated area very quickly. We do see the rotation there, and we've got some reports of some damage back to the west with some of these cells. So they have had a history of producing some damage.
Exactly. And as we've been saying, as the storms are moving on, people are picking up wind damage with dry skies. So we've been talking a lot about Butler County, specifically in southwestern Ohio. It is very likely they will be taking a very close look tomorrow at the possibility for a tornado touching down in Butler County, possibly Montgomery County as well. But just 5-10 minutes ago, even though they are not dealing with active gusty thunderstorms or severe warnings, they had a 58-60 mile per hour wind gust. So remember that as these showers are moving through behind it, we've got the cold front that's trying to push in here, and in between there's mixing happening, and those winds are getting pushed down. So I just don't want people to let their guard down quite yet, to maybe go outside after you're done with the warnings and kind of look around, assess damage or potential damage on the property. We are sticking with these gusty winds. Again, I would say I believe our wind advisories are through 10 p.m. tonight. That's possible that those could change. They could come down a lot earlier, but I would say at least over the next 2-3 hours, we're looking at gusty winds in or out of these storms. So multiple severe thunderstorm warnings here highlighted in yellow. We're watching this line in northwestern Ohio. That includes Defiance, Lima, and then of course our tornado warned cells that are moving north and east very quickly into Columbus, the west side of Columbus. Looks like they're getting closer to central and northern Madison County here, with the potential for some rotation, some heavy downpours, as well as what we really have been seeing a lot, a history with these storms, is some larger hail. So we do have the potential for some larger hail, and some of these cells continuing to get closer to 270 here. I'm guessing be inside of 270 in about 15-20 minutes or so, and then continuing to move north and east through Franklin County, clipping parts of potentially Fairfield County as well. So it is going to be an active next couple of hours. Getting back into northwestern Ohio here. Time now, if you're just joining us, is 3:45. We not only have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings as well, but these storms are containing multiple hazards. So they're not just been issued for severe wind. We're getting hail. We're getting some lightning strikes in these as well. But of course, our biggest concern is the potential for rotating storms. A couple of damage reports in parts of west central, southwestern Ohio that they are going to be looking at most likely as we get into tomorrow. So Eric, as we've been saying, that threat really getting into central Ohio right now, but we're still seeing this line, as you mentioned, of some gusty showers, and currently no warning on these showers moving through Dayton right now, but we'll have to keep an eye on those. Hail potential here still around where you see the darker colors in green and blue there. So we will continue to watch those storms carefully as they get into central Ohio. But just take a look at our recent storm reports. You may have remembered earlier I showed you the country, because this storm system actually started in California. You may have heard about that. They had some snow. They had some really unusual weather for them as well. And then we had the strong damaging tornadoes in Oklahoma. And now the energy is moving here ahead of a strong cold front for us. So what we're seeing right now, 248 possible tornado from multiple spotters in right here. So again, Germantown in Montgomery County, and then just lots of hail reports as well as some gusty winds. So earlier, if you're just joining us, we talked about it seemed to be, at least for the moment, AES Power in Dayton was reporting most people had their power on 99.9%, but we were getting some power outages from Duke Energy, specifically in Hamilton County, and that makes sense. If you remember, if you've been with us over the past couple of hours, we had some storms move through Hamilton County, really close to the Ohio River. They didn't have a warning, a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning, but they were putting down some really gusty, damaging winds, Eric.
Yeah, and this continues to move in to central Ohio. Obviously, the damage that was reported there, continuing to follow that as well. One of the other things I want to point out here, we still are watching this tornado warning that is in Madison County. I will say that they have dropped Fayette County from the tornado warning. That has just occurred. We now have new tornado warnings coming out just as I was speaking for Adams, Pike, and Scioto County in southern Ohio. We've just got that coming out. Those new tornado warnings in southern Ohio for Adams, Pike, and Scioto County is going to go until 4:15. I do want to point out before I get to that just kind of the information that we have on the tornado that is in central Ohio, the tornado warning for the cell that is located near Jeffersonville. It's now 8 miles northeast of Jeffersonville, and that cell has picked up some momentum moving off toward the northeast. Now appears at about 50 miles per hour. So again, multiple hazards out with this. Again, new tornado warnings coming out for Pike, Adams County there in far northwestern Scioto County. That until 4:15. I know that the bug is covering that up at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, but it is there with that. Here it is on radar, and just kind of point out, and I'll kind of move the radar off to the south so you can see where these warnings are located. And again, it's with these cells that are kind of out by themselves. That's the problem. They are basically able to feed off of all of the instability, and that's where we're getting these to pop up